What's up? Welcome back. All right, we're back. We're back,
Everybody. We're back.
We're back. And now we're doing animes of the year in all the categories. And of course, we have a bit of a larger list, I feel like, but that's because we're more of an anime podcast than a game podcast.
My ears are cold.
Okay.
They are.
Okay. We do record this at night, and it's been cold in San Diego. I know cold in San Diego
raining.
is not like cold everywhere else, but
that cold, but my ears are.
Yeah.
My ears are little babies.
So here are the categories we have. It's best closer, best opener, best animation, best anime soundtrack, worst character, worst anime, best anime.
And sexiest anime. No,
and sexiest anime,
which is
always Platinum End.
Yeah, is it?
No.
No, it's not.
I realized that the first two categories are musical categories, and I don't know if we're playing the soundtracks at all in post.
Probably not.
But
you should listen to it on your own.
Yeah, but
we will YouTube blank anime OST.
Yeah, we probably don't need to spend too much on it because of that. Because I'm not going to describe melodies on here.
No. We just say.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fuck.
But best closer.
Best closer.
Do you want to do it
want me
first
to start?
and then because I did first all for games. You can do first for anime. Weebo.
Okay, best opener.
Best closer.
Best closer. Okay. This is easy for me. Miracle-chan.
That's easy for you?
Easy.
Yeah. I was here, dude. I felt like if I said Chainsaw Man, that wouldn't have been fair.
Yeah, because there was
so there's good ones in there.
You're allowed to. I didn't because it was 12 different ones.
Exactly.
And there were so many good ones. But I was like, to me, I liked that they did that. It's kind of fun. But there's also a part of me, I'm like, well, this show, it's like a whole capsule where it's like the opener and the ender, right? Like you get the same, like, the opening happens. And if you like it, you're like, yeah, I can't wait. My show's about to start. And then when it closes and it has like that close, you're like, Yeah. But it always, and it feels the same. It's very, so.
Yeah, I got you. Gotcha.
I don't know, baby.
But Miracle-chan's.
Miracle-chan is it's a
good
perfect
outro.
fit to.
It's a good opener too.
A great opener. I mean, both the opener and the closer are tailor-made for the anime, which I'll be real, I feel like doesn't happen. A lot of times it's like, obviously the animation, what they're showing you is for the show, but a lot of times it feels, or maybe not a lot of times, I'll say 50-50. It feels like it's like this song's sick, let's put it in front, which again is cool, and if it works, but
sometimes it could be a little more unique to the show itself.
It's literally like a horror poppy thing, which is literally what the show is. Yeah. It's cute horror. So it's perfect.
I guess I
also did like Platinum Ends. I mean, not Platinum Ends.
You're right. Also, we should have worst opener first. That's my bad.
What do you mean? That's what we're doing. Oh no! You're doing best.
There is no worst opener.
No.
I'm an idiot. Oh my gosh, where am I?
Are you fucked up?
My best closer then, and this is the only award that I happily give this anime.
I can't believe I didn't do it on principle of nothing.
And I have a runner up because I probably should have chosen a runner up, but I think the song's better than the other one. So Platinum End can have the best closer.
Yeah, dude, it has a fucking banger of a closer.
Can't tell if I like it because the rest of the show was so bad that something good happened.
Because we liked it before that.
Cool. Yeah, but it's a good ending. It's a really good closer.
Ending. Their opener's kind of okay too. Yeah, no. Well, everyone's like, what the fuck? But yeah, their opener is good too.
It's really cinematic, or really theatrical feeling. Does that build up in the beginning? Yeah.
But those are good. Listen to them again. YouTube, honestly, just listen to all. I feel like this was the hardest. The musical one was the hardest category for me because they were so. There were so many that were fun and
there were a lot of good ones.
So. Like, I bet the one that is going to win for me, you'll be like, what the fuck?
Mine's, my runner-up is Faraway Paladin, by the way. Which
is
a great outro.
That's a good outro, too, dude.
We haven't really mentioned Faraway Paladin in, like, months.
Hey,
but
it's great. Watch that show. Phenomenal. Wish there was more of it.
Wish there was more of it. So let's do best openers then.
Okay.
You got it? You ready?
Oh, yeah. So An honorable mention for sure is Miyako-chan, I would say. I literally listened to that multiple times going like, damn, like it just fits this vibe so well. Again, it's not the best by any means. Like as in, it's not like the most fun. I'm not like jamming it all the time. Or I probably wouldn't even listen to it really in my car type of thing. But it just fits the show so perfectly that it makes me go, okay, like they put so much work into all of it. But the number one this year, man, I love, the rumbling. I loved Demon Slayers, and I know you didn't like it as much. I liked it. But the one that took the cake this year, dude, it was Mob.
Mob is great. That's what
it was like, it was just so goddamn good. And I didn't want to make it my number one because there were a lot of them. I liked Chainsaws also. I mean, I think the only one I don't really care too much about right now is just like Blue Locks. I'm always like, skip. I'm like, I just want to see what's going to happen. Maybe it's because I care so much about what's about to happen, but
I understand what you're saying with Mob because, well, it was weird when it started.
Yeah, it was a fucking weird way to say
the visual accompaniment that comes with Mob's song.
It's the best. It is the best intro.
It is the best like looking intro also.
Dude, I watched it every single time.
Oh, it's
genuinely
pretty.
This
it's
time
pretty.
I actually did that.
It's also like, how did you guys do this? Like, what program did you use?
I know. It's so clean. It's so good.
It's exceptional. And the music is fun too. So
yeah,
that's my runner up though.
Yeah, for sure. What's yours? I'm excited.
Rose Rumbling, dog. It's like you put a metal song.
Dude, I knew it.
With a breakdown in the beginning. It was awesome.
Dude, that's why it's not my favorite. It's a ripoff of that song.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
Nah, dude.
It's really good.
Yeah, it's
good. Like it cannot be your favorite, but also be really good, Joel.
It's so good. I'll be real. It got me hyped up as hell when well, I don't want to say any spoilers. When there's a thing that happens in a city in season 4, part 1?
Which
2?
I don't know what city you're talking about.
City.
But Rumbling is in season 2. Or sorry, season 4, part 2.
Yeah.
That's Rumbling.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Maybe not. I can't remember. Wait, I don't want to say spoil stuff.
I mean, we did that on the podcast.
We did it?
We did do AOT on the podcast.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Okay, so
if you,
is this
I'm sorry.
Yeah, spoilers.
It is a spoiler
if you didn't
alert.
listen.
Yeah, a spoiler alert still. But we
press
also
that 30-second.
We did do recaps into summaries and discussions on AOT part 2. So.
Yeah. Okay, so hit that button twice. I don't even know. It's like 10 seconds or 30 seconds, so I'll go quick. Now, so when they go to the city and Aaron's like there, and then he explodes, and then everyone's just fucking up shit. Like I was like, that was like that soundtrack to that. I was like, this was fucking go. So yes, it was very good.
Very good.
Okay, and we're back just in case you came back. But yeah, I think that is a very good soundtrack. Yeah. I have listened to that in my car before.
I have too.
It's very good.
Fun.
Definitely not my favorite though.
That's okay.
It's probably not even in the top 5.
That's weird.
No, it's probably 5.
It's probably number 5.
It's probably number
5. Okay. Well, those are very upfront categories. We're good. Now we're on to a bigger debate.
Yeah, let's go. What up?
And I have a feeling it's his best animation.
Okay.
So I have a feeling that we might be on the same one here.
You think? I don't know, dude.
I also I don't know where you're going to come from.
I don't know where you're going to come from. I feel like there's a lot of really good ones, and there's a lot of really bad ones. I
think there's only 3 or 4 total
really
in this conversation this year.
Whoa.
And
mine's Platinum Man, dude.
No, it's not. Nice try.
Oh, that would be awesome. It's Demon Slayer season 2.
Is that yours?
Yeah.
Okay. Ufotable. Yeah. That is one of the 3 or 4, I would say.
Yeah. I was rewatching clips because I was trying to watch like the best animations of those, and the amount of detail and the fact that like the 3D animation is so minimal on Demon Slayer
or Masked Well or whatever they're doing.
Yeah, they're doing it really good. Like that's her like the what do you call that? The satchel.
Yeah,
that's like 3D and stuff.
Kimono. Yeah.
But like. Genuinely, I was just trying to do a little bit of research, and I ended up watching like 23 minutes of like fights, and I'm like, holy fuck, this show is so good. I want to rewatch it, and Stephanie hasn't seen it yet, so I'm like, I think I'm gonna be like, hey, like let's watch this because she's watched everything else of it. But yeah, dude, like I love it, and it is so breathtaking to me. And I mean, Mob is very good, and I mean, like again, Chainsaw. Also very good. There's definitely parts of Chainsaw why it cannot be on my list because there's some just horseshit 3D that looks genuinely bad. So it can't win number one.
I think it's in the conversation still, but I don't think it's.
It is hands down. It
Yeah.
has easily the best animation of all of them. I think in some parts, not in everything. There's that one scene when they're doing like the coffee and like the way that they animated all that stuff. I'm like, yeah, that's genuinely.
That's when you're like,
if
damn.
an anime was that entirely, when it's hands down, and Chainsaw is the closest to that, but then they have some of the worst, I think, this year animation too.
I think the conversation literally is Chainsaw versus Mob versus Demon Slayer. That's the conversation.
You don't like Bleach's?
I think Bleach.
What about Orimichime's big old bread basket?
That's not her name. That's not her name.
What's her name?
Orimichime is not her name.
Orihime.
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 I think Bleach. If Bleach maintained the quality of the fight between Yamamoto and Yuhavak or whatever, like if they had maintained that level of animation through the whole season, then yeah, it could be there. It doesn't. There's it's not that crazily animated, but it's also not bad. It's just not on the level of Mob or Chainsaw or
what about Komi? Remember, we were always like, "What the
Komi's
fuck? Why does
episode.
this have?"
Well, Komi's first episode's phenomenal, and then
a lot of it. Remember, you and I would always go, "What the fuck?"
And then I went back and rewatched like 4 episodes, and like the first one is by far the pretty. Like they're not bad looking at all. It's not that. It's just that the first one's fidelity is so much higher than the rest of them.
I feel like Miyako-chan did a pretty good job too. It wasn't like the best animation, but it also was very consistent. Like nothing ever stood out, and their monsters, like ghosts and shit, were like genuinely.
At that point, I'd say the same thing about Stepdaughter, too. Which
Dude,
also
no, that's the one. That's the one that we were talking about. Stepdaughter legitimately had some of the best animation because we were like,
that's
what
fair.
The
okay,
fuck?
So then maybe the question is stepmom or whatever it is. more stepmom.
That's the one.
Yeah. So, but
so
to me, that's still the argument is Demon Slayer versus stepmom versus Mob versus Chainsaw.
Okay.
And so 3 of those are my runner up, and then one of them.
What about Attack on Titan, dog? I also watched that. It was a neck and neck between Attack on Titan and this.
I wouldn't put Attack on Titan there.
Really? There was so much good shit in there.
There's a lot of 3D shit in there too.
That is true. I didn't watch any of that.
And I'm not. Yeah,
I did not. Watch
I wouldn't
put
that on the same. I mean, not a ton, but enough for me to be like, yeah, it's not it. Yeah, it's and to me, dude, it's Mob. Like it's Mob. Like Mob, I think is the hand drawn king. I don't know if they really did much 3D in Mob at all, outside of like 3D rendering and like graphical touches, not animated objects. Yeah. Oh. So, but Demon Slayer and I'll put Stepmom in there for something. It couldn't be there.
It's crazy, but it did have some of the cleanest. Holy shit!
Some of the cleanest character work I'd seen in a long time.
I'm gonna watch season 2 of that if it comes out.
I'm sure you are. And Chainsaw, I'll put Chainsaw's runner up as well. So
yeah, that makes sense for sure. I agree with all those. Those 4 were great.
Yeah, those 4 are the 4 I think that you can talk about. And I'll be honest, Stepmom's probably like the least interesting of those 4, just because it's like got the least moving parts.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But
they're not doing any crazy fight scenes in that. So obviously, for sure, for me, it'd be on the lowest.
And then I'd put it as Chainsaw. And then it'd be between Mob and Demon Slayer.
Yeah,
really. I mean, Ufotable.
That's exactly like what mine is.
Is it?
Because when like Mob, for sure, you're right. Like again, it stays consistent totally through the entire thing. Again, the dimple fight thing, probably one of my favorite anime fights of all time. Now,
it is
like
also,
they did such a good job.
I mean, the thing about Mob is there's also nothing else that looks like it.
That is true. It is very much like its own thing.
And Demon Slayer has character style. Like there is a style to Demon Slayer, but it is
anime.
It's like it looks like the kind of stuff. Mob has this interesting different art style that I think most anime has.
Yeah, well, one is very good at that.
Yeah,
dude, I really hope that they animate his new shit.
Yeah,
I haven't even really read any. I've read like a handful of pages. I haven't even read a full chapter yet, and I'm just like,
I gotta read it too.
It's like medieval or like fantasy.
Yeah.
Dude, I can't wait. I'm like, what are you gonna do in this world? Like, I don't know. It's so weird. So cool. I'm excited.
And this is Chris. Friend, contributor, artist extraordinaire for the podcast, and lover.
Hi, I'm Chris Sardino. 2022 was a massive year for anime and games, from Chainsaw Man to God of War Ragnarok, but for me, my single favorite piece of media that was released would have to be Mob Psycho 100's third and final season. It tied all of its characters' stories up into a perfect bow and rounded out the series with an excellent exploration of Mob's character and internal struggles that really reflected the theme of the whole show. And that's not even mentioning the phenomenal animation and music that accompanied it. If you've never felt interested in this show, I strongly suggest you give it a try. It's truly a wonderful story of realistic and grounded characters in a world full of supernatural powers.
Yeah, those are the best animations for sure.
Yep.
Hands down.
Let's.
We doing worst animation now?
No, there's no worst animation. But
Yeah, we did.
Is there?
No, oh, maybe.
I don't have a category. We can do it.
No,
I think
wait.
we'll have the same answer. We can do it if you want.
Yeah, the answer is for sure Fruits Basket.
No,
I'm just kidding.
Lucifer and the Biscuit
Yeah,
Hammer.
that's
is-
a biscuit.
is-
I was
yeah.
thinking biscuit.
Yeah, I mean it's that, or it's what's the other? I mean, Platinum Men's pretty bad too, to be honest. But at least it had like complete lines. So
Yeah.
no, the next is best anime soundtrack.
That's right. That's right.
And this is this is a very exciting category for me.
This one is hard. This was the hardest, I think, for me.
Mm-hmm.
Because I loved Chainsaw Man's so much. And I feel like it's so neck and neck. Like, I'll be real. Like, now that I'm like talking about it out loud, I'm like, maybe that should be my number one. But I'll just stick with my number one. But this is like, they're like neck and neck. I loved like Demon Slayers. Honestly, it had a very good soundtrack too.
Is that one of the ones that's neck and neck, or is that one you just remember?
No, that's like a runner-up.
Oh, okay,
But the number one, I guess I'll do first is Attack on Titan for me for this season. Like, I went back and re-listened to like every like song from each one. Like, I just had in the background while I was like doing work. And the one that pulled me away most of the times to even like remembering scenes was Attack on Titan. Now, maybe that was because of the impact it had on me or whatever, because I felt like this season was fucking crazy. So like, but I've season one of that show, I love the soundtrack. It's seriously one of my favorite things ever.
It's iconic,
so unique.
dude.
It's so unique. And I feel like this was the first season, not fully, but where they integrated a lot more of like, you get choirs with like the electronic pads and like the stuff that kind of reminded me of old. And so I was like, okay, I really like this enough to where I literally listened to it again today just to confirm. And I listened to the whole entire thing and I'm like, I love this.
Oh yeah, AOT's got a cool soundtrack.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's where you're gonna land.
That's where I'm going to land,
Yeah.
baby. But Chainsaw Man is so fucking neck and neck because it's so good.
I mean, so here's my runner-ups, and I'll throw out a bunch there. But
all of them.
But Blue Lock is got a good soundtrack.
Yeah, it's good.
And it has a lot of variety in its soundtrack. But to me, it stands out the most in the super tense moments, and it's got this airy pad that just does these two notes, and it's like super tense, like and uncomfortable.
Always. Yeah.
But the most iconic moment of it is when you find out Nico stays after everyone gets like kicked out from the 5-round robin, and Nico and Isagi meet in the cafe and they play that song over it, and it's just really, really, really well done.
Yeah.
So Blue Lock soundtrack, I know it's really recent, but super good though.
Blue Lock is good though, dude.
Yep. Demon Slayer's soundtrack is also fantastic. It's just the same composer getting a lot of mileage out of that theme, like doing a real, like in not a bad way, like in a good way, like they're that thing,
good.
whatever.
Thank
like
you.
it's they utilize that theme impeccably in that show, and I'm whenever you can do that, what's that leitmotif, when you can reuse things, the same melody in different ways.
Yeah.
And like on almost like a callback, like that's always impressive to me. And Demon Slayer does it a lot. So did My Hero in the first few seasons. Not anymore. And now it's a little different. I feel like I feel like it's a different composer altogether. That's not really on my list of best soundtracks this year.
No.
I think Faraway Paladin had a good soundtrack.
Dude. Again, very underrated.
Underrated, but also not in the same league as a lot of these giants out here. And then I think Bleach should get a huge nod here as well as a runner-up, because it rebranded some of its old soundtracks in like
in the
fun
perfect
modern way. Yeah. I also feel like that soundtrack is a little bit of a miss in those first 13 episodes or 12 episodes.
Yeah, they should have been more.
Like it just felt, yeah. I mean, for an anime as iconic as Bleach, and with its soundtrack as like recognizable,
yeah.
I feel like that should have been a little more
Yeah.
a little more there. But my soundtrack of the year is Chainsaw Man.
Yeah,
So,
of course.
Like it's
so good.
It's the only thing I have it winning in, I think, in everything.
Spoilers for
no.
not going to be the best anime.
Yeah,
I
but
guess.
it's not gonna be the best anime. Well, would you think people would put that as best anime for the year?
Dude, I'm sure some people fucking
Oh.
put that as best anime.
Okay, I didn't think it was. I didn't think it was.
won.
I thought it was good.
Like, popular. It was super
I
popular.
mean, it was super
What did it do?
hyped. But
Do they
yeah,
have
it's
things?
super
Dude, we'll look it up later.
Yeah,
I don't want to.
I just don't. I guess. I guess it just to me didn't feel like it. Okay, well, regardless,
it literally won awards already.
yeah. Regardless, it's the soundtrack is to me the best part of that show.
Yes.
And the actual story moments when they sync up that soundtrack and the story moment perfectly.
Yeah.
And the show does it more than once.
I'll tell you right now. Do not read it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna read it. I'm good.
Don't read it.
Now that I've
Because-
started watching it,
Yeah.
stick with watching it.
I will say this: if the story is not your favorite part, or the kind of wacky craziness and the music is, I think that they've did such a perfect job on like the story.
no,
to
that's
me,
not what I mean.
Well,
I
no.
just mean there's better stuff this year.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
all.
That's true. That's true.
all.
I'm just saying, like the emotional impact that the music is giving, like I really didn't care. It's Nagi, right? The girl, eye patch. I can't try to remember her name.
No, that's Makima. No, sorry.
Oh my God,
Himeno. Sorry.
Himeno.
Sorry. My
So
bad.
when she dies, it's so fast in the book,
Yeah.
and it's not like it's kind of looked at a little bit and stuff like that, but the amount, the weight of the music, like that scene that we
Yeah,
talked about last
yeah.
time, like it's impossible to get that from the book.
Yeah, I mean,
So.
and that starts with to me, that starts with Puchita and Denji, like having
Yeah.
their conversations
Yep.
before Puchita has to
Yeah, that's
become.
season 1 soundtrack.
yeah.
Or it's episode 1.
Like, like that. There's that first episode. It's redeeming outside of like the frustrating animation of it.
Yeah.
And, like feeling like they kind of like kneecapped themselves with like that. The soundtrack moments and the story moments in it are really really fun and,
Yeah.
and really quote unquote beautiful. So.
Extremely beautiful.
I can't talk. But by far, my favorite soundtrack of the year was Chainsaw Man.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And then
I literally would listen to some of
Yeah.
that stuff like just like on repeat. It's like such good
It's so
background
good.
music. Oh God.
if it was the closest runner up, I think is gonna be Demon Slayer.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
Okay, we are now on to worst character of the year,
Yeah.
and there's a few.
Yeah. I'm gonna fuck up this name probably, but it's Yumi Irido.
Irido. From Stepmom.
From Step
Stepmom. Yeah. Okay.
So,
Yumi is the girl, right?
Yumi's the
one
girl.
they make you hate in the show.
dude. Yeah.
Okay.
Because she's just like, again, I genuinely think I wasn't really like I didn't have a ton of animosity towards everyone. Like, I mean, there's like the virus bitch, and I can't remember her real name because we.
Oh, no one
always
knows
call
her
that.
name, but
But-
she is Virus Bitch.
Yeah, but like, you know, so like there's definitely characters where you're like, fuck this character. I some Platinum End people for sure, but Yumi felt very much like you're supposed to like her. But like every single time they did stuff to make you like, oh, don't you guys want them to be together? Blah 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 blah. I was like, this is fucking bullshit. Now I haven't read it, so maybe the whole point of the story is to make you hate her, and maybe the whole thing is literally this relationship that's like, oh, I can't remember her friend's name or their the people who are more connected, and everyone was like, it's more of a tragedy about her life than really about these two siblings.
Yes.
So like, if the writer is intentionally doing that, because I haven't read it, if they're intentionally doing that and it really is about that, and maybe they get together at the end or whatever, like, then okay, kudos. Maybe that's better written. But if it's written to where these people are gonna kind of either get together at the end or what the fuck ever, like, it's horrible. She's written so horribly. I fucking hated everything that she was like the problem. She was the problem the entire time. And she'd be like, I don't want this. I do want this. What the fuck is you doing? Like, and you're just like, nothing redemptive
So
happened.
like I can't remember the main guy's name, but Yumi was like, she made everything worse.
Yes.
And then she wouldn't even try.
Yeah.
But the show was trying to give. I think the show was trying to make us sympathize with her.
Yeah.
And
It's like, fuck that shit.
it turned into, wow, you are the villain, dude. Like you're the reason these problems
the villain.
exist. She's like a runner-up for me, but
Yeah.
she's absolutely bad too.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the main reason why she was number one is because there was no redemption, and some of like
Yep.
some of the bad guys or the even shitty characters from Platinum Men and stuff like have some like redemption or some use, and she had no use and had no redemption.
Huh.
Like she was the problem the entire fucking time.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah, I remember how much that frustrated us because it felt so like,
yeah.
what the hell, dude? Like, why? This is a problem of your own making. Go away. Like, go don't make an anime about this. I'm just gonna hate you the whole time. And we watched it all though.
It was great. Season 2, baby, let's go.
So my big runner-up was Virus Bitch.
That's what's up. Yeah,
In
makes sense.
reality, it probably should be Yume because Virus Bitch really wasn't a character. She was there for 2 minutes.
Yeah, she wasn't really there long.
No.
That's like pretty surprising.
And-
What are
yeah.
some of your other run-ups? Do you have any other ones?
No, not really. To me, there weren't
I
as
thought
many.
you said there were so many.
There's a lot of bad characters, to be honest, but none that I thought were worthy of the crown as
Yeah, the worst.
leading one.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
Which would be Kaneda, who was the bad guy for the first part of Platinum Men.
Yeah, that's real.
Who is just awful as a villain
No,
and
yeah, not good.
written into the perfect scenario where he wins, until he gets blown apart by a Gatling gun. And even his death, which is trying to be poetic, is terrible, but like in a good way.
Didn't we like those episodes? Though?
We were happy he died, and we were
Yeah.
happy he got blown apart.
And we were excited to see what was gonna happen
Now, in the
next.
grand scheme of the story, him dying that way is super stupid.
Yeah, it is pretty dumb.
But what's even dumber is his motivation with his sister and how his sister, these filthy, filthy rich people who have everything in the world. Sister, they get into a disagreement about him being overprotective of her, which was kind of creepy in the first place.
Yeah.
They get into an argument. She falls down and her head hits a rock, and then she dies, which is just like the most comedic, in like not the funny way, but like that's divine.
I don't know, dude.
Like that's stupid.
It's stupid. Guess what? I feel like more shows are doing that. So I'm watching. I won't spoil anything, but with Stephanie, we're watching Yellowstone. There's 4 or 5 things that happen to people that cause death or like severe trauma, and I'm like, that would never. Like that is like the 1 in the 1 millionth of something to happen.
Yeah.
And they do it multiple times. I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
Well, I
Anyway,
haven't watched Yellowstone. I probably have
It's okay.
problems with that too, but.
Yeah, no, I'm
Anyways,
just saying. I feel like
but-
shows will like do that, where you're like, "What? Like, how is the one rock is what
Yeah.
you fall on?"
Yeah, and that's kind of the justification for wanting to become God and to bring her back to life. And he has her body frozen in his house in a weird capsule that's standing upright that
And
he
she's
can
naked,
look at.
I think, too.
And I think she's like kind of. It's
It gets weird.
it's
with his
weird, and like
character.
he's not he's not compelling as a villain, and
No.
and he sucks, and he's a high schooler, which is even stupider.
Everyone's
So
high school. Anime's high school, dog.
yeah, but the doctor's an adult. The scientist dude's an adult.
That's true. That is true.
I don't know.
That's
Like
true.
that kid's pretty awful. I almost put the young kid that gets shot by the sniper. I almost put him on this list too because he was also lame. Nobody in this show is great.
I totally forgot that.
This show is terrible.
This show sucks. Dude.
Yeah. This show is awful.
Yeah. I mean,
Um,
every character except for our boy, the dad. I can't remember his name now.
Yeah, he's the only redeeming factor. Starts with an M.
But I loved his character.
the cigarette guy. Yeah, he
Yeah.
was the only redeeming character.
I
in the
literally
entire
still
show.
have an idea of maybe a tattoo of.
I
something
just
following
I
him.
think
might
the
not
show
do
is
that,
so shitty that I could
It's
never
so
do that.
bad.
So
but it's too shit. I could never do that.
but that's my worst character, Kaneda.
There you go.
Cool. But now we get a good category, and it's best anime character. And I chose one and a runner up. That's all I did.
It's Virus Bitch for me, and
I need to make sure I spelled this right.
I'm gonna say this probably wrong, but maybe not. Yuzu,
Yuzu and Karin from Bleach.
No, that's his name. Uzui from Demon Slayer. The main guy.
Oh, Uzui.
Uzui.
Tengen.
Tengen.
Yep.
Uzui. Tengen Uzui.
Why are you the way that you are? Honestly.
Yeah.
Or is it Uzi Tengen?
Tengen Uzui.
Okay, there you go. I like him a lot. I felt like when I read when season 1 was finished, and then I just like plowed through it. It was the first manga I ever read, and I was like, he's the one that stuck out to me the most. Is like, I really love this guy. I hope that he lives, and I hope I had the most like desire to be like under him out of anyone.
Dude, he was
out of it.
so fun.
And not that other people aren't great, because other people are amazing in the show for sure. But I thought he was just animated super well. I love like the voice direction they went with him, and
He gets 3 wives.
he gets 3 wives. You know, I guess that's
What's
cool.
not to like?
Yeah, what's not to like?
No,
No, but I also love like his humor too, where it's like, I am the god of this. I rewatched. That was one of the scenes when I was trying to find. I can't even remember, like music or something, but one of the scenes was when they all meet for the first time, and he's like, "I'm the god of, you know, fashion or beauty or whatever."
Yeah.
And then wow, I'm just blanking on names because it's been a minute since we've watched it. What's the boar guy's name?
Inosuke.
Inosuke. Can't believe I forget that shit. You know, it's just like, nice to meet you, God.
like
I'm
worships
God
him?
of the mountain. No, he's like, I'm God of the mountains. Nice to meet you, or whatever. And then everyone's like, they're both on the same level, and he just looks at him and he's like, what are you, stupid or something? It's just so good. Like, I don't know. Like, it just felt like a very fun. Like, he's a lot more kind of brash, where the other teacher that they had was very composed.
Rengoku?
He
Yeah.
was very composed,
Two
very like
very
kind,
different characters.
and yeah. So so he was mine. I also love Blue Lock.
Usagi?
No,
Or Bachira?
Bajira.
Bachira's pretty cool.
Bajira's for sure. Like in that list of like people who I'm, because again, now I'm like insanely excited and super bummed about this episode. I'm like, this is what the whole show's going to be about. It's about him getting him back.
Yeah, I mean, I hope so. That's
And I'm
again,
like, no, doggy, come
which means,
on,
but
no
that means
more of him.
not a lot of Bachira because of that.
That's what I'm saying. Fuck, but it's
yeah,
okay.
He's a good runner-up, huh?
He's a good runner.
Yeah. Any AOT characters? Any nothing?
Well, I mean, I also watched this scene. Again, I guess this is kind of a spoiler for season 4, part 2 of Attack on Titan. But when Armin gets like shot in the face when they have to like murder their friends, I don't know why that. I was listening to the soundtrack, and that's like kind of where part of it went, and I was just like watching, going, "Oh my god!" And I just feel like all those characters have kind of become like, they're just so different now, and like they're so matured, and because of what they had to do and see. Like, again, I love all of those characters. I think I love that show. I didn't love the ending of the manga, but that's okay. The show and overall is still very good, and it doesn't ruin it. It doesn't ruin it. It's just wasn't. I was like, oh, okay, like okay, you know,
okay,
yeah. But
okay.
yeah.
For me, and my best characters, my 2 runners up.
Is it Levi? Because all
No.
he did was like this.
Well, one of them is AOT, but it's
It is?
one of them is one of the runner-up. Sorry,
Oh,
we're gonna go with the other one first because I think
What
the
is
other
it?
one is Mika from Lycurus Recoil, the bar owner.
Yeah, that is true. You know what's funny?
What?
I didn't think about Licorice Recoil at all in this whole thing until this morning, when I'd already kind of done everything. Well, not this morning. I mean, like literally probably an hour before you got here.
Mhm.
But it is somewhere on my list.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I just think there's a lot of good characters in that show. To be honest,
No,
Chisato, Takina, Mika,
Mika for sure.
Majima.
Majima.
Like they're all
good.
They're all really strong characters, and I had a hard time picking one. But Mika, I think, was the one that we both agreed was.
Hey, I
probably
lied. Mika for me too.
Okay, there.
I'm sorry. It has to be. You're right. I
remember how much we
we
enjoyed.
loved that show.
Yeah, that guy was so badass.
Yeah.
Beat the shit out of them.
Yeah.
I mean, that was awesome.
Very good.
Mika and Grisha Yeager, which I think is probably the most we've seen of Aaron's dad.
Yeah.
The portrayal of Aaron's dad in the past. I think we only got like 2 or 3 episodes, but
yeah,
he was so fleshed out for that time in that memory in AOT season 4 part 2.
Yeah,
I thought that was a phenomenal representation of how insanely like pissed he is, and but also driven by fear because of Aaron, right?
Right.
So I thought that was really, really good. But my favorite character of the year is, that's right. It's called, his name is Toru, and he's a babysitter, and he's the best. And that's
he's
it.
The best.
I don't care. I can't remember his last name. That's what I was looking for. But the main character of Yakuza's Guide to Babysitting is a gem.
I agree.
He's
He's second.
Yeah,
My guy's going lower and lower and lower.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't know.
For real.
Like Toru is, I don't know. I don't want to say too much about that show. I mean, what's already been said is on the podcast. So go back and listen to those
watch
episodes.
it. That is a
But
must watch.
Well,
we should do a
he's
must recommend, and that's
he's
for
just
sure on it.
so extremely well written, for appearing somewhat monotone for the first like 20% of the show, 30% of the show, and then like his actual arc is just wonderful in that show.
I want more of that show.
Yeah, me too. I
Hands
want to season
down.
2. Yeah. So there it is.
Agreed. That's a great list, dog.
Yeah, thanks, man.
What are we on?
We're on worst anime.
Oh.
We're on worst anime. So I know we're gonna probably have the same exact thing. With the runner-up. Runner-up on 3. Okay, not the main one. Runner-up.
Runner-up.
Okay. 1, 2, 3.
Biscuit.
Lucifer,
and
biscuit, hammer thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just called Biscuit.
Lucifer and the biscuit hammer. Yep.
Biscuit Hammer.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. I mean, such a bummer because it seemed to have some promise in the very first few episodes, and then just went to the complete shitter.
I was gonna keep watching it, but then I got sucked into Vinland Saga because I had forgotten that I stopped in the middle of that show, and I just have been catching up so I can watch season 2 now.
It just started.
I know.
Yeah.
That's why I'm doing this. But yeah. Anyway, yeah.
Okay. Worst anime of the year. 1, 2, 3. Platinum Man. Yeah. Okay. I mean, like
Bleach.
I feel like we've been shitting on that for like 6 months now, and I don't think we didn't really stop shitting on it. So it's bad.
Yeah. You know what else
Don't
though?
watch
For Runner, I'm surprised that the worst anime actually for you isn't Stepmom.
No. That anime's got redeeming qualities.
The amount that you hated it though, and you really hated that show.
Right.
So
but
I felt like I feel like that should have been on your like list, but it's not even there.
It was
it's
more
just
meh
Lucifer.
than bad.
Oh, okay.
And like the whole season's a waste of time because nothing happens but the kiss.
Right.
But
every kiss begins with
incest.
That's what I was literally gonna say.
But that show's not. That show's. I mean, that show has redeeming qualities. Good animation, actually a decent soundtrack. You know, it's not a show without its like shiny parts. You know, it's still weird and not my cup of tea. But Platinum End has no shiny parts except for the closer because I think I put it for best closer. But
as best closer. Also, they won best anime that we were watching at the time. Like 1, 2, or 3
like the first
times.
three episodes, we were so captivated, and then this turned into a giant shitty burger.
I don't know if it was the first 3. Was it the first 3?
3 or 4 episodes, yeah. It was up until the point when we met the girl's angel. And he appeared right in front of his face
right
in high school. And then I think after that, we started going downhill on it.
Yeah.
So that's episode 3 or 4, whatever that is. Yeah. Sucks.
Yeah,
it's ass. Don't watch it.
It's ass.
I don't
Story
give it
shit.
Yeah. Characters are shit. Soundtrack's weird. Graphically looks a little funky. Don't give it the time of day. You're good.
Yep.
This is Melanie, friend of the podcast.
Okay, so a lot of great anime came out this year. My most anticipated anime of the season came out, which was Blue Lock. But the one that really stuck out to me the most this year was Mob Psycho 100. And I was really lucky because Lou recommended it back in November of 2021. And I watched all 3 seasons this year. Absolutely loved it. I even started collecting the manga, which made me appreciate Studio Bones even more because one's art style, if you take a look at the manga, is very simplistic, very rudimentary. And Studio Bones took it and was able to create a visually stunning masterpiece to accompany an equally impactful story. And it was just chef's kiss. Especially this season, the animation went hard on that dimple fight. I think Mob Psycho is definitely proof that a story doesn't have to be dark or brooding or overly violent to have mature and nuanced themes. It just takes some thoughtful craft and a clear message, and that message being acceptance of yourself, of others. It's a very simple message, but something that anyone of any age can relate to, as showcased by Mob and Reagan's talk in the last episode. Couple that with well-written side characters that had real character growth that was never undermined or sacked, as well as callbacks to the first season to showcase that growth. Just the continuity in general was really strong all throughout. But what really hit it home for me was you see all the people that Mob helps in season 1 and 2 change for the better in season 3. And you realize Mob has accepted all these people and he can't accept himself. And oof. Isn't that just the most relatable thing? You give grace to everyone but yourself. And at the climax, you realize Mob was able to change all these people not just with the strength of his powers, but with the strength of his character, which was Reagan's advice to him from day one. And if that's not just the most full circle story coming together, I don't know what to tell you. But my favorite characters were definitely the Body Improvement Club, just because they were always so supportive and good friends to Mob, and they really break the stereotype of the jocks picking on the weak kid. And this show is just filled with refreshing aspects like that shift your perspective. And for that, I really think it was not only an enjoyable watch, but a fantastic story. And it's going to be in my top 5 anime of all time, for sure.
And we can move on to the real category, the final category.
Which is which Batman character?
Best Pokemon ROM.
Best Pokemon ROM, dude. Scarlet.
Best anime of the year. The anime of the year. I didn't rank these like 6 to 1 like I should have probably done. But I do have a favorite and a runner-up.
Yeah.
Is that what you have too?
I got a favorite, runner-up, and one that should have won, but it can't for reasons I guess I'll say.
So do that first then. Whoops,
the reason. So Blue Lock
isn't over yet.
Isn't over yet. It's also very new, so we haven't really sat with it like a lot of these other ones. And I do want to see kind of how this season closes. Also, the story, I will say this, Blue Lock is one of the only other anime that every single week I've wanted to know what's about to happen next.
Yes.
There has not been an episode where I'm like, oh, cool. Like, I guess, I can't wait for next time or whatever. But it's like, I'm like, damn it. It's not this day yet, you know? And
yeah, I got you.
So that has to just be up there because I love it a ton, and it would probably be number one if this was like, if this was like a spring anime or something, we had the full thing. But for my number one, I think it's Licorice Recoil.
Yeah.
So when I was going back through that, I was like,
you were surprised by that.
I was shocked. It's an original, right? It's an original anime original, so that's like really impressive that they made this very fun, interesting world. I thought the brutality, at least in the beginning, it got less brutal as time went by. But the brutality,
I don't think a single person dies in that show, outside of like a single named character that we actually.
Well, yeah, unnamed people die.
Well, I guess Yoshi dies in the end.
Dude, the first episode is literally assassins like killing people.
But those aren't people that we know.
No,
it's just part of the world.
They're
like,
terrorists. They're killing terrorists.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, like, it's again cute girls and people like killing bad people. And so I was like, what the fuck is happening in this show?
Dude, do you remember that episode where they had to like care after like an old guy?
Yeah.
And it turns out that was like a kidnapped person that someone was just voicing like remotely.
Yeah.
What the hell?
I know.
Like
but then it was also like a heartfelt moment.
Yeah.
And that, so I don't know. To me, the show was very fun. It was action packed. I had a lot, like there was pretty much not a character I didn't like in there. And yeah, I mean, it just really worked super well. I loved where the story went. I really don't want them to make more.
It feels good as it is.
It feels good as it is. I know I want more of the characters. So what they could do maybe is like do prequel. If you do stuff like that, or like this is kind of their lives. If you want to show us like everyone is like kids in this, do that. But I do not want like there to be more on top, and because it gets messy. It's going to be the generic bullshit of like, we need you back at the force, and they're like, okay, and it's like, where do you go from there? There's not, it doesn't like, it's very generic. So yeah. So that'd be number one, and then Tomodachi Game for sure is in that mix, and Chainsaw Man as well. Those are kind of like the four again, and it was hard. Like Bleach was so good, but it was more again nostalgia. And same thing with Chainsaw Man. It was more nostalgia of just like I'm excited for it, not it was the best.
Okay, that's fair. No, I think. I mean, so I built out a top 7 real quickly because I just had that kind of ready.
Okay.
I think to some degree because I've thought about this already. I have a top 4, and I just realized I have a top 4 in another list somewhere else. So I took those top 4 and added 3 more just in case.
There you go.
I think Licorice Recoil is phenomenal. It's on my list.
Yeah,
absolutely. And it was such a surprise, and like we thought it was gonna be a really boring summer, and it ended up being like the star of the summer was that show. And it still maintains, I think, a high level of quality even with this stacked fall that we just had. So my number 7 is Tomodachi Game. Fantastic, but it ends on a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
And I don't know
A
if it's
cliffhanger that
I,
might not get.
I
made
don't know if
again.
it's been renewed yet.
It hasn't.
So-
I looked it up
Yep.
when we were doing this. It has not. So I'm
which
like,
is
well,
like a bummer, but it's very good for the first for its first season.
Yeah.
Number 6 is Chainsaw Man.
Yep.
Very good, very fun. I think the show has some issues, obviously, with its animation. It also has some super high highs, but really good. Definitely worth a watch.
Yeah.
Above that is Bleach at number 5.
Yep. Phenomenal.
Bleach is back. It's great. Fantastic.
Can't wait
watch
for more,
it.
baby.
It's only 13 episodes or 12 episodes or whatever. Still go watch it. Then I have number 4 is Licorice Recoil.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, it's gotta be
Yeah.
good, yeah. And look, it was a good year for anime, to be
Dude,
honest.
I know what your number 1 is. What the fuck am I talking about?
My number 3 is Demon Slayer, because it is
Yeah.
that good.
It's so good.
It is that good.
Every single one of these is like
yeah.
in the 90s, like going like this. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
this. Like it's so
I know-
close together.
And I did what you did. I left off Blue Lock because it's not a resolved.
Right.
It wasn't a super resolved first like 13 episodes or whatever. Like you did get to see the team move on to the next selection.
Right. But that episode is like everyone's split up. And you're like, okay.
Okay. And it's
So
not.
then it's not like
It's still
resolved.
going,
It's
though.
like, yeah, we're getting, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I guess you could
Very
call that
short-lived victory.
the final battle a, that's it. But I
I
just
guess.
didn't put on the list at all. Demon Slayer for sure. Number 2 is Mob Psycho 100 season 3. It's amazing.
So good.
It's amazing. Go
It
watch
really
it.
is good.
But number 1 for me is Yakuza's Guide to Babysitting.
Yeah.
That is.
I knew it, bro.
Yeah, that is. I don't know. It was when I thought about like what my anime of the year was. I was like, okay, well, Yakuza's in the running, but I don't know where to put it exactly. And so when I thought about what to put it against, which I was like, well, I've watched the final bits of Demon Slayer season 2 a lot. I really enjoyed it. Like I had a great time with that, despite its shonen trappings, right?
Right. Yeah.
But I thought Yakuza was better than that. So I was like, okay, well, what's the other thing that I thought was special this year? Oh, Mob Psycho for sure. And like Mob Psycho 100 closing itself out, like might be better than Yakuza's. But when I thought about my time with Yakuza and like how sad or like how much I like was able to connect to Toru as a character and the way he was written, not that I have any kind of similarities with him beyond being
Right.
tall and having some tattoos.
Yeah.
And glasses.
And glasses. Yeah.
And
you're Yakuza.
I thought his character was written better than any character in Mob Psycho, and that's not a hit on Mob. That is a big point in Yakuza's court. I just think that show is phenomenal. I also
really
think
is.
it gave me what I wanted that Spy Family wanted to give me, and that was a genuine relationship between a father figure and a daughter. And I
Yeah.
felt like Lloyd and Anya is playing a trope and playing like a bit more than
yeah.
at least for a lot of it. And
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
there's
for
some,
sure,
There's
for
some
sure.
points of like,
I think there's growth, but for sure it's more so
But-
goofy.
yeah,
right?
but Yakuza is all growth. Like it's only
Right.
telling that story to show the change that Yaika has on Toru. And it's good. It's
It's so
heartfelt. You're gonna cry if you watch it multiple times. It also goes through some really dark areas that
Yeah,
I
I
did
was just
not
thinking
think-
about that.
Yeah,
About
like,
the revolver scene.
it does not like pull its punches, and like what you think is a super wholesome show is, but it has a very quick dark moment that you have to get through.
Yeah.
But that also I think adds to the maturity and the complexity of this anime. So my anime of the year is definitely Yakuza's Guide to Babysitting,
I think it should be there, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's fantastic.
and I would love to, if we were to crown Licorice Recoil and Yakuza's Guide.
Yeah.
Then that's it, dude. That's all I want.
That's all I want.
And then
That's all they get.
And then like I mean, let's be clear, 2022 was a pretty decent year for anime.
Dude, it was
like-
phenomenal.
Like even the bummer of like what we thought summer was going to be turned out to have some exceptional.
Yeah, like even Comey
Yeah.
was good. Like it was fun.
Yeah, I'm gonna go back and watch that at some point. I don't know why.
Yeah, the new
season.
season is out and stuff. So
I mean, we consume a lot of anime as a podcast.
Yeah.
and so it's hard to keep up with everything.
have you watched Near yet?
No.
I was going to, but then
I-
again, Vinland Saga got me last night.
I'll be very honest.
You don't wanna watch
I
it?
watched the Trigun episode twice now
Dude, it's so.
because I've
Well,
never
we're
seen.
gonna talk about it here, but I wanted to talk about that a lot
Okay.
more in the
We'll
next
talk about
one.
the next
We'll talk about it in the
episode,
next. You have already heard this actually,
So,
technically. I think.
Yeah. At this
so
point, right?
sick.
So,
Yeah.
but
So you know what we're talking about.
it is. I am just
Shut the fuck up. All right.
surprised.
So bye guys. No, just kidding.
Yeah, that's it. So that's
we did it.
Thanks for all the contributors that
That's
helped
crazy,
put their
yeah.
voices in this. You know
Yeah,
who
I
you
guess
are.
we didn't really say here. Now here, this person's talking. You fuck.
No, but we'll do it. It's fine. So I'm thankful for everyone that's followed us for this. I think 2022 is really our first, like, it wasn't our first year of podcasting, but it was the first year where we really kind of fell into a good groove.
Yes, agreed.
and
It
so-
wasn't just completely randomized.
Yeah, and everyone that's listening to us today, you are people that have done the work to find us and stuck around and done the work to listen to us, and really, like, you've invested in us more, I think, than you realize. And that's really, like, heartwarming and, like, touching to me and Joel,
Yeah.
or Joel and I. Sorry.
Yeah. I mean, it's the amount of love that you guys have shown us, even like the people who've reached out. It is really crazy that, you guys care and want to, and, like, you're giving us your time, which is easily the most valuable thing in the world, is someone's, like, time and attention. So the fact that you guys are giving us that is a huge thank you.
Yeah,
And it's very humbling.
Joel and I don't pay for any advertising or marketing, or we don't go to people and say, hey, listen to our podcast, really. Like, and I think both of us tend to be pretty quiet about it when it comes down to it.
That is true.
And so, like,
I'm just playing.
the fact that we have, well, no, I'm not embarrassed.
No,
about this,
obviously
but
not. We're on a social media.
We're on
so.
we're on Spotify. We're way too public for that shit now. It's cool to see people like you that have organically come in and hung out with us and talked to us and listened to us. Like, the coolest thing that Joel and I could say is that thank you, or
thank you.
keep listening. We can't really say anything more than, like, you guys are the best, and they're the reason we're doing this. So thank you.
If you want to kiss us, let us know in the DMs.
DM us.
DM us right now.
I'll send you my ID. You're good.